So now the question comes to you and what you're doing with your conscious, focused mind. Because with your conscious, focused mind, you only have the ability to affect the vibrational relationship between these two vibrational aspects of you. And we want you to hear something that you probably are not really aware of. Most people don't understand this at all. If you were not in this body, and you were not deciphering contrast, and you had not come to your own personal conclusions, whether you spoke them verbally or not, about what you don't want and what you do want, just your exposure to life has caused you to put all kinds of things extremely personal to your experience. In fact, that's the only way you can do it. Extremely personal to your own experience as it relates to you and everything that you are living. As you put these rockets of desire into your vortex that are very personal to your experience, things like, I would like plenty of money. I would like to have the freedom to do as I want to do. When someone is rude, you want a nicer world. When your employer doesn't understand you, you want to be understood. When your employer doesn't ask enough from you, you want more to be called through you. When your employer doesn't pay you enough, you want to be paid more. When your employer gives you assignments that are boring, you want more stimulating experience. When your employees don't show up, you want them to come to work. When your employees are lackadaisical when they get there, you would like them to be more focused. In other words, when your children don't understand you, we'll give that one up. Everything that you are living is causing you to put a personal, new and improved request into your vortex. Now, these new and improved requests, such as those that we just mentioned, and thousands more every day, they are melded in to the intentions that you held before you were born. They are melded in to the intentions that you hold globally, that you hold as humanity, that you hold as source energy. In other words, you just become bigger and more, but the specifics of that which you are asking for are melded in all day, every day. So in every moment of every day, there is this vibrational relationship going on between you and you. And what we want you to understand is that those two vibrational aspects equal your point of attraction. Now, I want to put this in a way that you can really feel the balance of it, because while source energy is way bigger, and in very general terms, it affects the basis of your experience, like cells duplicating themselves, and like your blood moving through your body in the way that it must for your survival, and like your earth spinning in its orbit. In other words, they're general in that you're not, Esther's not, none of you are putting them on your things to do today list. They are things that you accept as a basis of your reality. They are huge, they are enormous in comparison with the thoughts that you're thinking today, but they are stable. The specifics of what you are thinking about today, in other words, the subject of how you're getting along with your lover, or how you're getting along with your children, or how your lover is getting along with your children, or how you're getting along in terms of economics, those kinds of things play a very big part of the vibration of your human vibrational patterns. So that's the point of attraction that we want you to turn your attention to. We want you to understand that if your life had not caused you to become more, then not going wouldn't feel bad. In other words, if you had not, over all that you've lived, become one who loves, then not loving wouldn't bother you. But it does. It bothers you because it keeps you apart from who you are. So start in that place. Do you understand that you are more than this physical body? Do you accept that the source energy that was you before you came still exists non-physically as soul or source? Some call it God, but do you accept that that source still is? Does it make sense to you that you are a creator and therefore an expander? Doesn't it make sense to you that you didn't come just to catch up with something already done? What would be the point? You came as an expanding source energy to take thought beyond what it has been before. And the specifics of your life have taken it beyond what it was before your birth. Now, we have not said this to you before. We're going to say it to you here and now. It will answer many questions that we've been feeling coming from you. You accept the premise, or at least follow us through with our analogy, that you were source energy before you came into this body. And in this body, you explore and expand. The emotion that you feel is not about the difference between what you're thinking in this moment and what you thought before you were born. In other words, that basis from which you were born is not part of the emotional measurement that you feel in your emotions now. Some of you heard that. You're right out there on the leading edge if you did. We'll say it until you all hear it, because it is essential to understanding your point of attraction. So, before you were born, you understood that the earth would spin in its orbit. So, that's not part of the thinking equation that you've got going on now. In other words, nobody's feeling negative emotion relative to that subject. That subject is established. The things that are giving you emotional feedback are the things that you put into the vortex that you are now defying. So whenever you think thoughts that defy what you've put into the vortex, our way of explaining that to you is your life caused you to expand. The larger part of you took the expansion. You're not taking the expansion right now because you're focused upon the problem rather than the solution. So the negative emotion that you're feeling is because you're splitting your energy. You're splitting the energy of the creative energy of the creation that you have done. Just to get your attention, and maybe this will help you coming round to what we're getting at here, this vortex of creation where you've put the spin-off of everything that you want, that vortex of creation where the source within you has gathered it and has vibrationally become the culmination of all that you have ever asked for, that vortex of creation is the only present tense that exists in all of the universe. And this stuff that you call present tense that is already manifested really is old news. It's old vibrational news anyway. You say, well, it doesn't feel so old. I just got my car today. We say, old news. Because by the time it manifests, the vibration of it has been spinning for a very long time. So when you accept that the now reality is in this vortex and you care about taking the emotional journey into the vortex so that you can align with the solution right now, then you get the emotional benefit of feeling the relief of the solution even before it manifests. And a lot of people still aren't willing to do that. A lot of people say, show me the solution and then I'll show you my relief. And we say, it doesn't work that way. As long as you are all tied up, you are not allowing the relief that you want. And you say, well, I'll feel a lot of relief when they plug that leak. And it hasn't got anything to do with me. So they'll get it plugged, and then when I turn on the television, I'll feel relief. And we say, you are the creator of your own experience. And if you train yourself to expect others to change conditions so that when you then observe those changed conditions, you will feel better, you miss the point of your reason for being, and you hold yourself chronically, vibrationally apart from your vortex, from the real time of who you really are. In Australia today, it's tomorrow. Jerry and Esther found that so odd. When they were in Australia, they would call the office and they would say, well, we are living your future and it's good. It's good. But of course, that wasn't accurate at all, was it? Because even though they call it Sunday while you're calling it Saturday, it's still now. Whether it's in Australia or whether it's in California or whether it's in Boston, it is still now. Whether it's physical or whether it's non-physical, it's still now. and this powerful present, this powerful now, there is only one thing to ever consider, and that is the juncture where in this now you meet you. In this now, you are meeting the vibrational frequencies of who you are and what's in the vortex. And you can tell how the meeting's going by how you feel. If you're discouraged, the meeting's not going well for you. It's an indicator that the source is vibrating in a whole different place than you are. If you're afraid, if you're angry, if you're hateful, if you're blameful, if you're feeling guilty, if you're overwhelmed, if you're frustrated, you are outside the vortex. The meeting is not going well, and you can't stop having the meeting because the vibration of that which is you and you is always playing in relationship to one another. So Esther has said to us in a very meaningful way on several occasions, Abraham, if it's so important to you that me and me meet up, then you need to come over here where I am. Join me outside the vortex in my justifiable blame. Because I'm right and you know I'm right. And why you hold steady to your Pollyanna in the vortexness is beyond me, because I have a point. I have a point. I know I'm right. I could get hundreds, maybe thousands of others to agree with me, Abraham. You should come and agree with me. And what she finds as our response to that is silence. She can't even hear us when she's in that vibrational place, because we will not ever join her outside the vortex. And that's why it's her guidance system. In other words, her guidance system is always letting her know what she needs to do to keep up with Abraham. No, to keep up with who she has become, who life has caused her to become. In other words, her negative emotion isn't about what somebody else is creating. Her negative emotion is about what she's doing in relationship to who she is. So when we say, Esther, you really, 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 really want to tend to your point of attraction, we're not telling her that because she needs to save the world. We're not telling her that because she owes anything to any of you. We're telling that to her because she's put stuff in her vortex that she will never feel good unless she aligns with. And that stuff is not going to move into a different vibrational place just to accommodate her. Your mother does that, your inner being will not. In other words, when you misbehaved and your mother wanted you to behave, so she changed things around to make it easier for you to deal with it, she did you the disservice of all disservices, because she changed the condition so that you could love. She taught you conditional love. And conditional love is a fairy tale. Conditional love doesn't even exist in this law of attraction-based universe. There's no conditional love. In other words, you must become a vibrational match to the part of you that is love, and then the condition will morph and give you the manifestation of that. Now, did you hear what we said? First, there is the vibration, then there is the vibrational consistency, then there is the manifestation. And a lot of you say, well, I'd like to tweak that just slightly. First, there's the manifestation of what I want, and then there's the grateful, emotional response to what you've given me. And we say, how's it working out? Not that well. Not that well. But we know why it's confusing, because you live in a world with other people who have created a lot of things. So you get the benefit. You were born into a very nice environment. Food's plentiful. Transportation is plentiful. You get to live in wonderful environments. Many of your children get to live in energy balanced environments. In other words, we get it that it's nicer to be in an environment that is pleasing to you than to be in an environment that isn't. We just want to say that above all of that, 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 above wanting to control your environment, above wanting to control your children or your government or your mate, above wanting to control the circumstances of your life, you must make the highest priority be, you want to tend to your own vibrational point of attraction. You want to focus in ways that cause you to feel good regardless of the conditions that currently exist. Because because there are conditions that exist that you are often oblivious to, because as the solution is coming into focus because of the problem coming into focus, as the problem comes into focus, the solution comes into focus. In other words, the solution and the problem are coming into focus equally. These are conditions too. These are the conditions. These are the vibrational conditions. These are the vibrational reasons that we want you to feel your way into the vortex.